trained travelers are on a unique expedition into one of the most remote rainforests on Earth. Their goal? To live for months exactly like the remarkable Kombai tribe, a people whose way of life has barely changed since the Stone Age. There are only 4,000 Kombai left, isolated from the rest of the world in the tropical rainforests of West Papua. The question is, can two Westerners learn how to survive in the jungle like they do, using nothing but traditional Kombai techniques?
Wasn't it beautiful?
Mark Anstis is a seasoned traveler and author.
I've chatted before I leave.
With numerous expeditions, including several to West Papua, already under his belt. Ollie Steeds has made his name as a TV news journalist.
Yes, I think what's the story?
He has interviewed people all over the world and has crossed numerous cultural barriers. Both men have said goodbye to their Western lives. Now it's total immersion in a totally different world.
Come together at times on the planet. Radical change from sedentary Western life is leading.
Over the past 3 weeks, Mark and Ollie have faced a tribal confrontation, been adopted by this Kombai family, settled into the hunter-gatherer routine, and eaten all kinds of creepy crawlies. Eventually, they will take part in one of the biggest Kombai festivals ever thrown. But have they got what it takes to be true Kombai? In this program, Mark and Ollie attempt to build a monumental Walina, a Kombai treehouse a staggering 80 feet in the jungle canopy. It's a tall order that takes up valuable time needed to stay healthy and hunt for food, and is made more difficult by devastating weather that leads the Kombai to take shocking measures as they sacrifice a prized pig. Building a Kombai house is definitely not for the faint-hearted. For the past 3 weeks, Mark and Ollie had made themselves at home with the Kombai, and now live in this Walina, a treehouse generously lent to them by the tribe. Sadly, it has one slight flaw. It's a death trap.
Getting a little bit bored with all my kit disappearing through this floor, which used to be my bed until that pole thrust itself up between my legs. Yeah, the whole house had dropped about 6 inches.
It's a difficult situation. How do you say to your hosts, this house we borrowed is going to seriously injure one of us unless it's repaired?
That's the thing that almost went up my backside. I could break this with a karate chop.
To the new Walina. That's great.
Thought Waffler might think we were rude, but instead, he seems to be delighted. He's one of the tribe's best architects and is clearly relishing the idea of showing off his skills.
A treehouse is not going to be as easy to build as Mark and Ollie think. The structure's height depends on how protected the Kombai feel. Faced with inter-tribe warfare, they can be as high as 100 feet. They constantly have to be repaired, and new homes are made as a last resort, roughly every 2 years, because that's how long the fragile wood and leaves last. This single tree's upper branches will support the whole of Ollie and Mark's new house. It'll be 15 feet square with a thatched roof and bark for walls, with everything held together not with nails, but jungle vine.
Leonari is a brave and energetic individual. At ease at the sort of heights I'd normally only climb with a rope and safety harness. He does his best to reassure us.
Bandari mura. Kangi babum bumura ri gora ri. Ri mura bandari mura mo biya mura biya kimbo.
But the slight problem is that we've got to build 45 feet up in a tree. Oh, there it goes.
He's got vines around his feet. He's still gripping to his feet there. That right vine like this snap. Oh my god.
Yes, so you next, Mark.
Yeah, I think I might even put my super climbing shoes on, which I didn't bring, and break my knees, I think. Yeah, okay.
We're right down here to catch you. Not bad. Mark's in his element. He's done plenty of climbing in his time, whereas I've done none. I'm just not good with heights, but I'm determined to overcome my fear. Yes, so we start here.
Here's another method.
Construction begins with the collection of raw materials. Pole after pole is needed, and that's just for the floor. It was thought that the structure would be about 45 feet above the ground, but now it looks like it's going to be even higher, a lethal-looking 80 feet off the jungle floor. No one said living in the jungle was going to be easy. Later on, the guy's new building project gets decidedly tougher. Mark risks life and limb, whilst the Kombai worry Ali might get killed if he's not a little more careful. Construction for Mark and Ollie's treehouse is well underway. This precarious frame, made up of nothing other than poles held together with jungle vine, was going to be the floor of the house. But the Kombai have now decided to make it just a halfway stage.
So all these struts are going to be used for the landing platform, which is the first level. That'll be the base to build another 20-30 feet up.
And there's another surprise. The family had banned Mark and Ollie from doing anything other than gathering the raw materials.
Until they get a framework that's good for us to stand on, we're probably a bit of a hindrance up there. We just can't climb it like they can. It's impossible.
Wow. I'm glad I don't have to climb the equivalent of a 6-story building just yet, but I'm happy to help in any other way. It means my feet stay firmly on the ground. Hey, Nari, which part of the treehouse is this for? The Kombai are sometimes quite abrupt, but they're not unkind. But when they're working, they just like to get on with it.
The jungle's like a Home Depot, where everything needed for building is just a stone's throw away. To truly live like the Kombai, Ollie and Mark must learn what to look for and how to collect it. Something much easier said than actually done.
How do you know?
I know there's Ali on it. This is attached, these sago leaves. So we're just ripping them off, getting hundreds and hundreds of them. We're going to need to thatch our house.
Berna's very aware of the guy's inadequacies. She's married to Bayo, the head of the family, and loves telling people what to do.
This one?
In in a cheeky kind of way.
Work out here is a lot harder physically than anything back home. I've been sitting behind a desk for far too long at home. So it takes a bit of adjustment getting used to it. But you just look at the bodies on these men and women here and they just ripple. And when they work, they just go straight in at something. It's the intensity of their work and the duration they can work at, which is humbling.
Mark and Ollie are clearly not used to this kind of manual labor. For the Kombai, it's second nature. They've been working like this since they were children and want to speed up so they can go back to getting more food. But what the guys can contribute is one of their last remaining Western items, a steel machete, which quickens the process no end.
It's very hard wood, that tree. It would have taken hours with a stone axe. And that's the only other thing they have.
The family alongside Mark and Ollie have been working for 8 hours without stopping for food or water, and the children are beginning to get hungry and a little cranky.
What do we got here? The Kombai survival skills are remarkably resourceful. They can't write, so the knowledge needed to hunt and gather is verbally passed down to the kids, who learn by trying things out for themselves. A little chaps like this, it's a movable picnic wherever you go. There's also something to eat, and he's got himself a little grasshopper there, which I'm sure won't be long till it's in his little mouth. Enjoy your lunch, pal. We've got to get on with work.
Unfortunately, a sudden storm sends everyone home. Work on the treehouse is abandoned, and everyone goes hungry.
The rain stops today again.
Chloe, the family's most religious character, believes the rain has come for a reason. The children's disregard for their parents' authority explains in the eyes of the family why the weather's so bad. And it continues to rain for another 4 days. The Kombai can't hunt, gather food, or work, and construction on the treehouse has to be postponed further.
It's going to be the dry season, and it ain't dry. It's raining the whole time. And it's frustrating because it stops things. It prevents us from going out. Kombai don't want to go out, our families don't want to go out, so everything just grinds to a halt. When the rain finally stops, speculation about who's to blame is forgotten, and everyone begins to build as quickly as they can.
My father, Bayo, is right up on the top of that tree.
Well, everyone except Ollie. Ollie's fear of heights allows him to pursue other interests, like bonding with the ladies, Mappy, Berna, and Andayo.
Why do we build the treehouse so high up in the trees?
mana bila lagi bang.
Masih. Mana gua loni ada holi. Awangi. Ya Mungu loni barang.
Really? Cheeky girls.
Ya Mungu barang. Mungu barang mana begini.
We're just above the height of most of the canopy. Super mild over there. Not for nothing that these people and the Korowai are both known as tree people. They are tree people.
Aliyo, dara gumai itu orang mungkin wara le mungkin. Why no baba giro? Imini.
Your hands are bigger than mine.
As Ollie successfully cultivates a rapport with the girls on the ground, Mark tries talking to his adoptive father, Bayo, amongst the treetops. Sadly, Bayo doesn't do idle chit-chat and completely ignores him.
Can't get threats with Bayo at all. He's such an implacable face. You never quite know what he's thinking, and then he breaks into smile and even laughs. He's the sort of chap that doesn't say anything unless he thinks it's really important to do so, and when he does, people listen.
The upper branches of the tree are being cut down to stop the house from swaying dangerously in high winds. It's difficult work that will allow the Kombai to thatch the roof more easily later on.
Didn't think I had any problem with heights. Which I don't. If I'm in a nice, secure skyscraper, looking out through a nice window. Yeah, branches coming out all over the place.
Just filmed one just going over, and it gave the whole platform a huge whack as it went over, sending Bayo diving. Quite exciting, really. The whole thing swayed around.
Mark is not the only one living precariously. If the Kombai women are to be believed, Ollie is in real danger of being killed. Coming up, Ollie goes out gathering greens with the girls. Mark hunts with the men. But the constant rain interrupts work again and forces the Kombai to consider the unimaginable. The sacrifice of their biggest asset. Mark and Ollie are well into the routine of Kombai life and have been helping build a new treehouse in their own unique ways. Mark up top with the men, Ollie safely on the ground with the girls, but that's all about to change. It's 5:30 in the morning, and as day breaks, a new challenge awaits our intrepid travelers. Construction work and rain mean their food supplies have run dangerously low. The Kombai have plenty of domesticated pigs, but their value is so huge they're only ever used to compensate for a death or paid to other tribes to balance a wrong. To feed the whole family, they need to catch a wild pig. Waflo is keen to get Mark out hunting, whether he likes it or not. Only problem is, Mark hasn't got a clue what Waflo's on about. Mark has compiled a dictionary of Kombai words in a bid to try to learn the language, but understanding what's being said is still proving difficult.
So, who? I Bandilu. Yeah, I'll agree to it. I just don't know what it is yet. It's incredibly tiresome not being able to communicate. Something that should take seconds to say can take an absolute age, and frustrates me no end. I have no idea why we have to go hunting now.
I feel faintly harassed.
There's no rest for Ollie either. Berna and Mappy are determined to gather their share of food and insist he help them pick edible leaves and insects while the men hunt wild pig.
This place is just full of plants, but what is edible is anyone's guess.
Mark's not the only person having problems with the language.
Greens. What are we looking for in here? It doesn't look particularly edible. Rolly. Ollie. Rolly alapu. I think that's palm heart. Oh, now I realise. Looking for insects. Sort of wings, legs, tentacles. I'll pop it in the bag.
Mark's also worked out what's going on. The Kombai shot and injured a wild pig on a hunt last night and are now trying to find it.
The strategy is just to go back to where they shot it and pick up a blood trail. It's the sort of thing we're following. Big fact.
One of the Kombai has spotted a pig and the chase is on. Sadly, the pig seems to have vanished, but the family continue to track it nevertheless.
Big excitement. Shows what a big deal catching a pig is actually. It doesn't happen that often. Everyone's wildly excited. There were great sort of shouts and whoops a bit earlier on.
While Mark runs around the jungle looking for pig, Ollie is trying to chop it down looking for fresh leaves.
I'll try not to break your axe. I have a tendency of breaking these things. Oops.
Yeah.
Not very good, am I?
Berna thinks Ollie has more chance of breaking her axe than the tree and decides to send him up it instead.
Which ones? All of these? These ones? Huh? Okay. Hope this doesn't break. These ones? Fair enough. Easier said than done, Bernie.
Ollie isn't the only thing stuck up in a tree. Mark's hunting party still haven't found a single pig, but they have spotted a lizard in some branches.
They've been harassing it with arrows. I don't think anyone's really hit it yet, but that said, it does seem to be a bit shaky.
Yeah.
The Kombai have hit the lizard and now use their specialised knowledge, passed down from generation to generation, to get it onto the ground. They chop the tree down. God, this thing is tough. Look at this, isn't he beautiful? Wasn't he beautiful?
The Kombai, satisfied with this tree monitor lizard, seem to have forgotten about the elusive pig.
I'm tired and hungry, so I'm quite relieved we're heading back now. It's been a long, long day.
Instead of the pig feast the family was hoping for, everyone traipses home and the women cook up the day's meager finds.
Ooh, what do we got here? Oh, it's a nice bit of
Ina.
one of the insects we picked up. What are they called? Gulu.
Ina.
Gulu?
Rolly.
Rolly, that's it. Rolly.
Ina.
Aroma. Crunchy on the outside. Juicy in the middle.
It's been a strange and difficult day that wouldn't be complete without it raining, so it comes as no great surprise when it does. After all, this is West Papua. More rain means no more food and no more house building. Something needs to be done. The Kombai begin to discuss their options.
So if you sacrifice a pig, how does that stop the rain? That pig is worth so much. It's the wealth of the family. I mean, you buy your wives with pigs. If there's a problem and you've got something to pay for, kill someone, the currency is pig. So it's obviously been quite a big decision on their part, and I think a bit of a privilege for Ollie and I to be a part of that. Unusual.
Still to come, Mark and Ollie witness a ritualistic sacrifice and hope it stops raining. The rainforest of West Papua is one of the largest swamp regions in the world. It rains on average 15 feet a year. This is supposed to be the dry season, yet over the past 3 weeks it's rained even more than usual, and the Kombai have had enough. With no chance of catching a wild pig, today they plan to sacrifice one of their own to their god Rafarfu to bring some much-needed sunshine.
I'm not looking forward to seeing a pig being killed. It's an unpleasant thing to see. Although I am very interested to see the process of it, the ceremony that goes on with it. I think that's the interesting thing about it.
There's no point getting squeamish about it. It's just part of the way here. Pigs are their main source of protein. They die.
The killing of this very valuable domesticated pig is such a big deal that the whole family is involved, including Elder Gunare. That is, everyone except the women. It is so rare for the family to make such a huge sacrifice that the process relies on the men's collected memories of how their ancestors did it.
Quite know what the problem is, but we've been here quite a long time now and nothing's started yet.
It's disturbing seeing a pig being killed. Its last cries before it died. I don't mind admitting, I'm a little bit shell-shocked by all of this. It's a big deal for them. It's something that will take a bit of time, I think, for it to all sink in.
More people should see how it's done really and see the actual process. Something's life being ended like this. We're far too removed from it all in the West these days. You just buy something that's cellophane wrapped and you can sort of quite cosily and conveniently forget the actual process of an animal being reared and then being led to its execution. To these guys it's just part of the life. It's why get sentimental about something that is your food source?
After the butchery of the pig, Chloe offers a surprisingly small sliver of fat to Rafarfu via the river. He's not a greedy god. The remainder of the pig is then taken back to the main house, where other body parts are put in the rafters.
The fascinating thing was seeing Greenari taking the pieces and putting them on the roof in silent prayer to the gods. I found that very moving, although I still found it very difficult to comprehend it through my understanding. I don't believe sacrificing a pig is going to stop the rain. But I suppose in a way what they're doing is rather like a harvest festival back at home. We get together all the fruit and veg and pray that the next harvest is going to be as fruitful. And I think in a way that's what they're doing here.
After a sweaty day, the guys retreat to clean up in the one true luxury still available to them, the river. But only after Berna and the girls have lit their way.
Fat is flammable. They get a bit on the end of their stick and that gives them a flame to walk by up until they get to the hut. A couple of 100 yards distance. Isn't it clever, Berna? The forest just provides everything.
Yeah,
One of the rare treats there is coming down here for a bath. Excuse me. Sit in the bath and have a shower. The only bit of peace and quiet I've had all day.
Another day, another downpour. The pig sacrifice failed, but the Kombai thinks someone is to blame. Mark and Ollie decide not to own up, but later, the rain does miraculously stop, and Ollie finally gets to go on top of the treehouse. It's been nearly 4 weeks since Mark and Ollie began building their new treehouse.
Another day, another haul.
The rains have now stopped completely. The family believes the sacrifice worked after all. The materials needed have been gathered, and the main structure is complete, leaving just the roof to be finished off. Which means at long last, Ollie can face his fear of heights and get to the top of the treehouse.
I'm slightly anxious about going up. I mean, Mark's been telling me it is pretty precarious up there. It wobbles a bit and all the rest of it, but I just can't wait. It's been a long time coming. Still a little nervous. From latitude to 3 is still a bit precarious. But today's the day and I can't wait to get up there, so I'm not hanging around.
He needn't be in any way ashamed or feel any less of himself for not having been confident in coming up here, because it is high and it is wobbly and it sways around in the wind and it's unstable, and as soon as it rains, which it always does, it's all wet and slippery. Whoa. Oh my god, this is unreal. Look at the view. Nice one. Welcome to your new home.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Thanks for all the hard work.
Good, isn't it? I mean, it still sways a bit, as you can feel. Yeah. But it's
still
reduced a lot since they took off these branches.
I think we get altitude sickness up here.
Just don't look down too much.
Right, I guess I'll just get on with some work. Where can I start?
Well, we're putting these on things, and it's very easy lashing. It's just we go around there and then over one side, back around twice, over the next side, back around over the first side again.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, it's dead easy.
It sounds easier than it actually is. And it's made especially difficult when different people tell you different things.
What is simple is the thatching process. You bend the leaves in half, which breaks the spine, and use the protruding spikes to hook the leaf in place. The next leaf simply overlaps and gets skewered onto these, locking it in place.
The majority of the leaves have been thatched from the inside. All that is needed is for someone to climb on top of the roof and finish it off. Something both Mark and Ollie declined to do, preferring instead to watch from the safety of the ground.
It would have been suicidal for me to even attempt balancing on the apex of something quite so high. It's only held together with timber and twine, and I can't help but feel absolute admiration for Waflo. He walks around the top as if it were nothing.
It will take the Kombai the rest of the day to complete the roof, but it looks like Mark and Ollie's treehouse will finally get finished, despite some having done more work than others. Coming up, Mark and Ollie at long last move into their new home. And the Kombai take a risk and teach them how to make a fire in a house that could quite easily go up in flames. It's taken over 4 weeks, more than 2 tons of wood, rattan, and leaves, and rests 80 feet above the ground. But at long last, Mark and Ollie's treehouse is finished, and they can finally move in.
Everyone's there.
Oh, wow, yeah, the whole family's turned up. Rambo, ladies! Moving up to the... Real fun of the completion was actually when all the ladies came out to see us off, and it really was a proper send-off, and it was a great way to christen the house.
You can still come to dinner.
You're always welcome. Especially the ladies, you're always welcome. Move it up.
I'm really proud of our new treehouse, Wadena. It's a fantastic structure. I did enough towards its construction to feel a certain pride, but just sat back and watched someone build it for me.
Kamu wali nang ramo di mana ramo pandu pun mana pandu pun, era pandu pun. Kenapa lah? Aku yang mau orang bari mana? Yang bari mana? Yang mau lah.
All right, this one's ready.
Okay. Bloody hell. What have you got in this thing?
A few books, wet clothes.
It's alright, is it?
Especially when you're not pulling it up anyway.
As usual, I do all the work. Ollie chats to the ladies. Crikey.
Nice work, Mark.
During the past few weeks, the Kombai have got used to having Mark and Ollie around, and have some interesting opinions about them.
Mana? Yang Ollie gimam. Arabiga mo maru nemia. Nia mari gimo wale ramano. Mo gira ikami era nia onya hawa ogori narabi.
Rambo.
Ollie mo onga mo magona na onga mbaya mara. Ora mo ro jai jawaba.
Here comes Ollie. Hello all.
Aha.
Welcome.
Pulling those bags up.
Yeah, that was really hard work, actually.
Look at this. I'm losing on you, huh? When we got up there, got this most spectacular view over the canopy. There's a whole other ecosystem living up there, and it feels like another world.
The Kombai believe a fire, lit in the manner their ancestors taught them, brings good luck. So Chloe wants to teach Mark and Ollie how they can bless their new home with a traditional fire. Only problem is, Ollie slept in.
Ollie! Ollie! Ollie!
Chloe's shouting doesn't just rouse Ollie. Most of the family are now intrigued to find out what's going on. Chloe is struggling to get the fire started, and the girls begin to goad him.
Clue's had a couple of goes, but he's given up after a few, citing fatigue. So it's the girls that can have a go now. Berna's quite keen to show that she can do it.
Berna thinks Chloe failed because the wind blew out any potential spark, so she does the smart thing and moves everything inside.
You can just understand why they go to extreme lengths to keep at least one fire going in the village at all times.
Berna's pride at being able to beat Chloe and light the fire is clear for the whole family to see, although Chloe is too tired to care. And Berna lights the fire in her own home for good luck.
We're going to have to give it a crack. I don't see why we can't do it, just with a bit of practice.
It's judgment time. Will they make fire and live in a blessed house, or will they fail and curse their Walina for all eternity?
We've got fire.
Oh, that's highly satisfactory.
You realise that no one is actually going to believe us when we did it first time.
Oh, I wouldn't. Today is the first time I've seen it work.
Quite an immense feeling just to make fire out of a piece of rattan and a bit of wood. It is still possible. People still do it. It's remarkable.
I've always wanted to build a treehouse like this. The added bonus is that I can now enjoy the sunset from a spectacular vantage point. I'm sitting almost 80 feet off the ground. It's brilliant. I've been looking forward to this moment. There's a bit of a breeze going on, and it's great.
You look around and you're just reminded about all the work which went into it. Everyone slaving away for days on end. And this whole place, it's amazing. Mark and I, we've got our own new little house up in the sky.
It's a really nice little spot. Trees coming up through the floor, and it's just great. Love it.
Next time, Mark and Ollie's life gets tougher. They discover someone has been murdered. Meet an unfriendly war chief who dishes out his own version of justice. And almost drown.
I'm very lucky that my leg didn't get snapped. One of the joys of living this high up is the ecosystem which lives up here.
The constant bombardment by bird-sized moths and grasshoppers and whatever else it is that exists up here.
it's almost they sort of bite you just to know that you're in.
Then adopted by this Kombai family, settled into the hunter-gatherer routine, and eaten all kinds of creepy crawlies. Eventually, they will take part in one of the biggest Kombai festivals ever thrown. But have they got what it takes to be true Kombai? In this program, Mark and Ali attempt to build a monumental Walina, a Kombai treehouse a staggering 80 feet in the jungle canopy. It's a tall order that takes up valuable time needed to stay healthy and hunt for food, and is made more difficult by devastating weather that leads the Kombai to take shocking measures as they sacrifice a prized pig. Building a Kombai house is definitely not for the faint-hearted. For the past 3 weeks, Mark and Ali had made themselves at home with the Kombai and now live in this Walina, a treehouse generously lent to them by the tribe. Sadly, it has one slight flaw. It's a death trap.
Getting a little bit bored with all my kit disappearing through this floor, which used to be my bed until that pole thrust itself up between my legs. Yeah, the whole house has dropped about 6 inches.
It's a difficult situation. How do you say to your hosts, this house we borrowed is going to seriously injure one of us unless it's repaired?
That's the thing that almost went up my backside. I could break this with a karate chop.
To the new Walina. That's great. Thought Waffler might think we were rude, but instead, he seems to be delighted. He's one of the tribe's best architects and is clearly relishing the idea of showing off his skills.
A treehouse is not going to be as easy to build as Mark and Ali think. The structure's height depends on how protected the Kombai feel. Faced with inter-tribe warfare, they can be as high as 100 feet. They constantly have to be repaired, and new homes are made as a last resort, roughly every 2 years, because that's how long the fragile wood and leaves last. This single tree's upper branches will support the whole of Ali and Mark's new house. It'll be 15 feet square with a thatched roof and bark for walls, with everything held together not with nails, but jungle vine.
Leonari is a brave and energetic individual. At ease at the sort of heights I'd normally only climb with a rope and safety harness. He does his best to reassure us.
But the slight problem is that we've got to build 45 feet up in a tree. Oh, there it goes.
It's got vines around his feet. He's still gripping with his feet there. That right one with a snap. Oh my god.
Yes, so you next, Mark.
Yeah, I think I might even put my super climbing shoes on, which I didn't bring, and break my knees, I think. Yeah, okay.
We'll be right down here to catch you. Mark's in his element. He's done plenty of climbing in his time, whereas I've done none. I'm just not good with heights, but I'm determined to overcome my fear.
Yes, so we started. Here's another method.
Construction begins with the collection of raw materials. Pole after pole is needed, and that's just for the floor. It was thought that the structure would be about 45 feet above the ground, but now it looks like it's going to be even higher. A lethal-looking. Two extreme travelers are on a unique expedition into one of the most remote rainforests on Earth. Their goal? To live for months exactly like the remarkable Kombai tribe, a people whose way of life has barely changed since the Stone Age. There are only 4,000 Kombai left, isolated from the rest of the world in the tropical rainforests of West Papua. The question is, can two Westerners learn how to survive in the jungle like they do, using nothing but traditional Kombai techniques?
Wasn't it beautiful?
Mark Anstis is a seasoned traveler and author.
I'll have chapter 4 before I leave.
With numerous expeditions, including several to West Papua, already under his belt. Ali Steeds has made his name as a TV news journalist.
Yes, I think what's the story?
He has interviewed people all over the world and has crossed numerous cultural barriers. Both men have said goodbye to their Western lives. Now it's total immersion in a totally different world.
Come together at times on the planet. Radical change from sedentary Western life to commuting.
Over the past 3 weeks, Mark and Ali have faced a tribal confrontation